Hi traders, welcome to this live currency strength indicator table video with me, John, on this Friday the 16th of June. Aussie yen continues to top our table, so we're going to be looking at a potential opportunity again on Aussie yen today. The market looking very risk on at the moment. You can also see we have pound as well here with pound yen, pound dollar and Aussie US dollar, so we may take a brief look at those, but Aussie yen is definitely the one to watch. I mean, if we scroll back through our rolling data here, we can see Monday the 12th of June, Aussie yen topping our trend traders and day traders at 9 AM, and pretty much since then we've been very bullish Aussie yen. I think from the close, even on Monday, price has rallied 200 to 300 pips to the upside, so plenty of long opportunities to come, I feel, on Aussie US dollar, especially because the next level of resistance is up around about 98.50. If I just jump to that weekly chart, you can see 98.50, these highs here around about the 11th to 13th of September of 2022. So looking to see if that will be our overall targets there. Now, for entry possibilities, I'm looking at this hourly chart and we can see that price is making higher highs and higher lows here. We're getting those key higher highs and higher lows, like in an upward trend would form. So looking to see if that will continue. Our 50 moving average is still pointing to the upside. We are quite a way away from that 50 moving average. You can see we're probably around about 76 pips or so, and we've tried to use that 50 moving average as an entry point going into this week, but it's only really hit on it on a couple of occasions, one being down here on the 14th where price has rallied sort of 200 pips higher. So we may not get that type of entry going into today, since that it is being Friday. We may only be looking for a shorter sort of entry point, and what I've done is I've pointed out these highs here, so around about the 96.72 down to the 96.65. We also have trend line support running through here as well. So entries around about the trend line or above, just to kind of get us into the move, could be what we're looking for today. So maybe around about the 96.70 level could be a nice entry point in here. Stop losses, it's still saying that we need around about 98 on the ATR. However, that will bring us all the way sort of down below this low, and with regards then to our risk reward ratio. So if I just bring in our entry tool through there, you're going to need at least 100 pips to get below this low, which formed on the 15th around about 2 PM. So we need to either bring our stop in a little bit tighter here, maybe even track it below this 50 moving average. That gives us a positive risk to reward ratio as well. So we could be looking at stops around about the 95, or maybe even we want to be a little bit safer than that, go in at 95.90, so it brings us 10 pips below that 96 handle, and that still gives us a positive risk reward ratio. So I'm going to be looking at that entry today for Aussie yen. If we go flip over to our other charts of interest, so let's go take a look at pound yen. Pound yen has come up into the 180.75 full targets now. We were talking about getting long on multiple occasions on pound yen, one being the 174.50 and one being the 175 handle. So if you managed to get triggered on either of those and held those positions to the full targets, you would have been around about 500 pips or so, or 600 pips in profit. So maybe another opportunity here as well. Watching the hourly again, we've got this sort of trend line support running through here as well. I quite like the price coming back a little bit further. We've got these highs that come in around about the 179.70, which could be an area of support. So if price does pull back into that area there, we could look for longs back into the highs at 103. Again, 50 moving average sitting below all this area though, so you know, price may have a deeper pullback, so you want to consider your stop losses here. ATR 144 pips brings us just below that 50 moving average, so again in a bit of a safer spot below this low, below the 50 moving average, which can be acted as support. That gives us a negative risk reward ratio though, so with pound you may want to look at a tighter stop loss within that ATR range. Like we said, pound US dollar, Aussie US dollar also featured. If we have a look at pound US dollar first, just because we're next to it, we can see price has traded through the one spot 26.50 highs. The next sort of level of resistance, if we just go to this weekly chart, it's going to be around about that 1 spot 3 area. So again, we've got some upside to this potential market as well. The only one I feel with this is that the levels of support are a little bit lower, maybe back at that 127. 50 moving average is moving through as above that 127 area, but you can see this high. That's kind of piqued my interest there, so may see a little bit more of a pullback before looking for that continuation to the upside there on pound US dollar. Going to finish on Aussie US dollar then, because that is another market that we should be taking a look at going into today's session. Now Aussie US dollar, you can see, is up at the 0 spot 68.75. We're rejecting here a little bit, so that could offer us a bit of a pullback. I have marked out the high at 68.33, which could be a point of interest as well. So if price can drop to about that point, we may get an entry around there as well. We've got the 50 moving average running through there as well. Price, although it could pull back to that point, it may also stall here. You can see price has rallied. We've formed a little bit of a high and a low here, so we may only get a slight sort of pullback, because we might have almost like a flag pattern here, or like a consolidation pattern. So if price breaches to the downside, closes back above, that could also signal that buyers are still interested in taking price here for Aussie US dollar to the upside. I obviously prefer a deeper retracement there, just because it gives us a better risk to reward ratio. So those are the ones you're going to focus on today. Pound yen in particular, and Aussie yen should be around about that entry point now. So like I said, Aussie yen looking good for a long here around about this this 96.70 handle. So we'll have a little look at that one, see if that one can play out. And yeah, thanks for watching all the content this week. Hope you caught some of these moves, and I'll speak to you in the next video.